Guys. Um, this video, I want to discuss a very heated topic. I want to discuss a topic that um, it stirs up a lot of energy by both male and females. Uh, and the topic is child support. Now, I have had some very heated uh, sessions with some guys on child support. Um, and a lot of it seemed to be centered around the fact that, some of the ideas and the logic that they have just makes no sense to me. Things like just because the child is with the mother, um, they don't have to pay. Um, and it's such a list that I can't think of it all at the moment. But here's where this comes from. I was watching um, I was reading an article where there was a man, and you all probably heard this too or saw this as well because it was on social media. Well, this man apparently gave his girlfriend bleach to drink because I guess trying to make her lose a baby. She was pregnant. I think, I really didn't even read it. I just mostly read the comments. But from what I understand, uh, he didn't want the baby, and he had told her that. So from that, uh, the topic went on, as these topics do, and the topic went on to abortion and so forth. And one woman said one thing that made me want to do this video. She was a young woman, and she said, her body, her decision. And when I read that, I haven't forgotten those words. Now, I'm not naive enough to not understand that women have that type of ideology, that type of mindset and thinking. I have to say this is where I differ because I don't subscribe to the idea of my body, my child, my decision, whatever. And the reason that I don't is because women don't make babies by themselves. Now, you have these women who will begin to go all into the sciences and talk about the Bartholin gland and, how women can produce a certain amount of sperm or whatever. Okay, and back in the day, women didn't need men to have babies. I've read all that. I know all that. However, we're not in that time. Today, I don't know, there may be some rare instance where it might happen, but for the most part, men and women are creating children. Women cannot, just on their own, produce semen enough to create a life. Like I say, maybe at one time that was the case. I've um, I've heard about that. Even had a very reputable teacher that I respect speak on it. So I'm not discounting it, but as I say, we're not in that time. That time, I'm sure, had its purpose and its place. We're not there anymore. So because men and women now are needed to create a life, it is not just a woman's decision. The man is 50% of that life. And as a woman, I have to say, I think it's very unfair for a woman to carry that idea, my body, my decision, my baby. And then here's the part where it gets equally wrong, or not equally wrong, but very wrong, is when you say my body, my baby, my decision. You already know, I mean, we know, this is America. We know that it's pretty hard for a man to take a child away from a woman. It's pretty hard for a man to pretty much get sole custody here in America, um, especially if the woman has no uh, issues, problems, or whatever. I mean, it's pretty hard for a court, and it's going to be pretty hard for a man to take a child away from the mother. I mean, we know that. So, but at the same time, if a woman is going around with that idea that it's my body and my baby and my decision and everything, I personally do not think that a woman should then turn around and ask for child support from a man. I don't think so. Especially if the man didn't want the child. I think that's very unfair. And I then begin to see why you have a lot of angry men. Because, I mean, it's just not fair. I mean, you basically have forced him, not only into having a child, but now you're making him support the child, you know? Um, Especially, and I've heard men say this as well, and I have to say I have to agree with this as well. There are so many forms of birth control for women, so many. So I know accidents happen still, but being responsible with sex, being responsible with your body, and just being in the time that we're in, we really shouldn't be having babies by accident. I mean, that really shouldn't be something that's happening on a regular with all the options for birth control. Um, Now, you know, we have also the issue of just, there was a person who put another meme up. Y'all probably think all I do is stay on social media, but I really do work. But there was this woman who put up a meme that said something about if you got $350 million, would you take your baby's father off of child support? And I said to myself, we need to stop looking at child support as a punishment, because that's another issue that we have. So many men are out here angry at the children and the women because they see child support as a punishment. When the reality of it is that if you make a child, you make a life. That child grows, it needs things, and it needs support. Not only does it need financial support, it needs emotional support, it needs love, it needs to know and feel that it's wanted. You know, there was a time that my son, who is, he's an adult, but my son, even though he was provided for and he was taken care of, he had, I mean, he didn't, I mean, we were rich, so of course he had wants and needs, but he was provided for. Pretty much got what he wanted. Um, Now, still, even though he had what he wanted, he didn't have his natural father in his life. And he would come to me at different times as a teenager, as a preteen, and he would ask me hard questions. because I was very open with my son. I'm very open with my son and my daughter. I always leave it open for them to talk to me about anything. And he and I were very close as far as especially talking and bringing things out on the table and everything. And so, anyway, he would ask me why his dad didn't want him, why his dad didn't come around. And this is even after, uh, this is even despite him being provided for. So we need to look at, even if you're paying child support, even if, the child is okay financially or what have you, children still want that love. Children still need mom and dad. They need the balance of the male and the feminine, female and male energy. I understand all too well that you have some parents and some men and women who are not ready to be parents. I understand that you have some women out here who don't need to be mothers. I understand that you got some men out here who don't need to be fathers. And so maybe sometimes the child is kept away from that parent because of that. Some of these people are mentally unstable. Sometimes we didn't learn until it was too late. Sometimes, even if they're not mentally unstable, they just may not be someone that the children need to be around. I mean, I understand that it's different circumstances, but if at all possible, not only do these children need things, you know, they need the parent. They need to know why they're here. They need to, you know, a lot of these children, especially our boys, have hard questions inside of them that they never ask anybody because they don't want to seem weak and they don't want to seem like, uh, they're soft or something like this. But little boys want to know why my daddy don't want me, why my daddy don't come see me. What did I do? You know, and especially if you're one of those women who are going around telling them you just like your daddy and you're gonna be like your daddy. I mean, it's like you're making him think and believe that his dad is a horrible person. Sometimes they are, but at the same time, sometimes you just have some bitter, angry, ugly women out here who, because the man don't want them anymore, or because he's moved on with his life, maybe he's married, maybe he has other children, um, or whatever, or because he just didn't want you no more, you are angry. And so you're gonna hurt him, you're gonna hurt the child, you're gonna poison the child's mind, you know, and it's wrong. It's wrong. But as I say, the whole point of this video is to say, yes, children need that financial support. Children also need that emotional support. They need phone calls. They need you to come around every once in a while, you know, more so than not. They don't need to hear mom on the phone yelling about child support checks and, yelling about I need this and your child need that. I mean, they don't need to hear that kind of stuff because trust me, it puts thoughts in their heads, makes them feel unwanted. That's one of the greatest things. I mean, without the money, despite the fact that the child is going around not getting its needs met, what's worse than that is the child going around feeling unwanted and unloved. So, and trust me, these things cause bitterness. Trust me, these children remember those things. They remember the hateful, bitter remarks about your mama or about your daddy, or I mean, they remember that stuff. That's one of the things we need to stop. We need to stop poisoning our children because the ex broke up with us, or because they didn't want us, or because you look like him and I hate him. I mean, that's some real mental stuff. I met uh, a beautiful sister recently, and if she sees this video, I would hope that she wouldn't mind me sharing a part of her story. I'm not going to give her name or anything like that. But she was telling me that because she looked so much like her dad, her mom just didn't want her. And her mom basically abandoned her. And that's not a rare story. That's a very common thing. It's a very common thing, especially with our black women, because the child looks like the dad. You know, she beats the child, she hurts the child, she neglects the child, she talks bad to the child, mentally abuses the child, emotionally abuses the child. It's something that needs to stop. I'm no better than nobody else, but at the same time, I purposely never did that. First of all, I don't hate my children's father, so that's one thing. But I, I've always made a point not to poison my children against their father. Never did, you know, because I don't know what the relationship is going to be like later on in the future. You know, maybe there will be one. It would be great if there is one, but I don't want to be the one to have my children hate me because, you know, I mean, some crazy situations that go on out here. Um, but we have to stop making child support a punishment. Let me say this in my closing to men. There's some vindictive women out here. There's some hateful women out here. There are some women out here who, yes, only want to check. May not care about the baby, may not care about the man, any of that. She just wants the money. She'll do anything to get the money. And yeah, maybe she'll go down to the courthouse and put the man on child support. I don't know. But what I do know is that the way the system is designed, and this is something that men need to understand, women don't have to go down and put you on child support. The way the system is designed, you can have a job. You can be fairly okay financially, but you might need some Medicaid. You might need, I mean, medical insurance is very, very expensive. So you might need Medicaid. You might have a job, but you still might need a few food stamps or something to kind of help you get over the rest of the month or something like that. Anything that you go to the government for gives them a right to ask, well, who's the child's father? What's the child's father's name? What's his last known address? Do you know his phone number? Do you know any of his people? These are questions that women are asked. And I know that I have purposely not given out information. Uh, but these people are resourceful. These people with just a name, and a city can find who they need to find because all of these computer services are all hooked up together. Unemployment, uh, Social Security, the Food Stamp Office, Department of Human Services, and all of their branches, and all of these services are all hooked up. So at any time when you go to these places or if you need these people's help, they're going to find. They're going to find what they are looking for. So this is not always, like I say, a punishment to where, she's just being vindictive and trying to get some money from you. This is a situation, I mean, because in my situation, I had an ex who I would have preferred them to not find him. Just leave him alone, let him, just let him stay over there because when he was in my life or when he was getting money, his mind told him that that gives him a right to be in my life and to control my life and to come and have free reign in my life because he's giving money. and which is something that I didn't want at all. So uh, they found him, they put him on child support, uh, and he had himself taken off, which was fine with me because when he had himself taken off, I didn't force the issue. I mean, and this was just months. They served him child support. I don't even know if he paid anything. He may have, but first he tried to get it reduced. Once he couldn't get it reduced, I mean, they're telling him like, I mean, this is the bare minimum already of what you are supposed to pay. He didn't have no. Anyway, let me not go into all that. But anyway, he didn't have a lot of expenses that would have required him to have been able to get a deduction. Put it like that. So, but he kept on whatever he did, and he was able to get himself off of off of child support. And like I say, with me, that was fine. That was absolutely fine because then when he wasn't paying anything, he left me alone. So that was great. Um, but yeah, the key points to the reason I made this video is women, if you are going to have the attitude that is your body, your baby, uh, you can get pregnant when you want, you can end the pregnancy when you want. It's all total. I mean, you're God in this, which is not the truth. But if that is your attitude, then you seriously don't need to ask a man for child support. You don't need to go and ask him for child support if that is your ideas. If you're going to control the child's life, not give him any say so, not give him any. He has nothing to do with the child. You don't want him in the child's life. I mean, you should not ask him for any kind of child support. That's straight up totally wrong, and it's wicked. Okay. My next point in this video is for the men. If the child what you need to know is that the child does not just need financial support. It definitely needs the financial support. These children need so much stuff. Um, but they don't just need that. They need you. They need your presence because they are looking for you. They are wondering. They grow up feeling lost, feeling abandoned, feeling like, well, my daddy, blah, 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 you know? Um, And like I say, my third point in this movie, in this video, is that you need to understand that women are not necessarily out here just being vindictive and just putting men on child support. Like I say, if there is any type of need that a woman may ever have in her life, these people go after the man by themselves. They do that, you know. I know this for a fact. They do that. The woman. Matter of fact, I told them I don't want anything from him. I don't want child support. I don't want anything from him because I know how he is, and I knew that if he was giving me if he thinks that he's giving me money, even though it's for the child, if he's giving me money or anything, that's going to make him feel like he got a right to come to my house and he can do whatever he wants. He's breaking all of the rules, all of the what do you call that? The custody rules, because he just was doing whatever he wanted to. And I knew that's the kind of person he was, which is why I didn't want anything from him, you know. So anyway, long story short, you know, if a child is born, it needs support. If a child, I mean, it's just no getting around that. It's just no getting around that, you know. So anyway, you guys, that's my take on child support. I just hope we get better. I hope and I wish and I would pray that it becomes more about the children than the child support. You know, it's such a huge divide in our community. It's this child support thing. You know, I think we need to be more careful. And I think we need to be more responsible with our bodies. I think we need to be more responsible with the fact that we as adults know that if you have sex with a male or a female, the possibility and chances of bringing a life, into existence is very, very possible. So you need some birth control or vasectomy or hysterectomy or something, because don't bring the child here and then make them suffer or put them in your mess. It's not fair. It's not fair. Don't make them hate their parent, male or female, calling them all bitches and hoes and all that stuff. I mean, why? Why? I've heard men, so many men in my life, who have told me things like, my child's mother turned my children against me. I haven't seen my children in 15 years. I haven't seen my children in 5 years. I haven't seen my little girl since she's been born. I mean, all because of things that the mother said. And then I've had scenarios where, they have told me that, when I did meet my father, usually these were men, when I did meet him, he wasn't nothing like my mama said. My mama was just angry and bitter and hurt. And so she told me all these lies about my dad. That's some wickedness that's gonna come back in a horrible karma on a lot of women for doing that. Because not only are you lying and hurting the man, you're hurting the child. I mean, just because he doesn't want you doesn't mean that he can't make a good father for his children. It's just real. So, you guys, I thank you for watching. I thank you for listening and subscribing. Hope you guys have a great day. And until the next video, let's see you